Hello and good evening, everyone. Oh, clapping. Thank you. Hello and good evening. Will you please join me in a round of applause for our folks who made this incredible meal for us this evening? And for the servers and the folks behind the scenes who made this evening as elegant and beautiful as it could be. Thank you so much for all your work. My name is Dr. Tim Wall, and I'm super nervous as I always get up here and the lights are here. So I'm quite proud to say that I'm a 2001 graduate of Northwest Missouri State University and currently serve as the Dean of the School for Education. I do consider it a big honor to be your Master of Ceremonies this evening as we celebrate the 2016 Northwest Alumni Association honorees. As I tend to get a little bit nervous at events like this, please forgive me. I thought I would introduce myself to those who I haven't yet had the pleasure of meeting. I'm a Bearcat husband. My lovely wife, Jenny, is the 36-week pregnant bombshell over there. She's a math professor here at Northwest and a 2003, and 2005 graduate. I'm also a Bearcat dad. No, I'm a daddy. I have a 4-year-old and a 6-year-old, now 5 and 6. And you see them right there with us. Eliana and Karina are graduates of the Northwest School of Education, class of blah, 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 blah. Not sure what year. And they attend Horseman Elementary and the Leet Center Preschool here on campus. You should clap. That's good. Here is a family photo from Mount Rushmore this summer where we take with us the Bearcats everywhere we go, as many of you do as well. And we expect another addition to our green family in less than a month. And we're going to go with a special family name. It's been in our family for generations. We're going with Timothy Mote Jonathan Jasinski Wall. I'm feeling good about that. And for Mel and Valerie, naming rights are available. We can continue that discussion soon. We are so thankful that you've all joined us here tonight as we recognize just a few of Northwest's outstanding alumni and friends. Before we get to the awards presentation, there are a few individuals that I would like to recognize and thank. We're privileged and honored to have with us this evening the 10th president of Northwest Missouri State University, Dr. John Jasinski, and more importantly, First Lady Denise Jasinski. Would you please stand? And members of the Northwest leadership team, Dr. Juanita Simmons, my friend, Dr. Juanita Simmons, would you please stand and be recognized? A tremendous leader and the first vice president of diversity, equity, and inclusion at our institution. Yes. Dr. Timothy Mote, our provost. And somewhere, Vice President Mike Johnson's collecting checks. I'm not sure where Mike is. Where are you, Mike? There we go. There are some others that we'd like to welcome this evening and say thank you to. Would the past Alumni Award recipients please stand and be recognized? Thank you. I'd also like to recognize Dr. Pat Haar, Chair of the Northwest Board of Regents, and all as well as the current and past members of the Board of Regents, hiding in the corner. Mrs. Linda Place, President of the Alumni Association Board of Directors. Thank you. And the current and past members of the Alumni Association Board. That's a lot of you, I think. You got to stand up. We'd like to recognize all the current and past members of the Northwest Foundation Board of Directors, if you're here. And we are honored to have our campaign co-chairs and the namesake of the Melvin D. and Valerie G. Booth School of Business in attendance. Mel and Valerie, would you please stand to be recognized? Thank you. At this time, will you please join me in welcoming to the platform Northwest 10th President, Dr. John Jasinski.
Well, hi, Bearcats. It is a pleasure to be here, and I tell you what, when we think about homecoming at Northwest Missouri State University, we include family weekend. And we think about our culture. We think about family a lot. And homecoming and family weekend are such special weekends for Northwest Missouri State University. I had a chance to speak to the Alumni Association Board of Directors. Thanks for all that you guys do. Talked to you guys this morning, and I was talking about momentum at Northwest Missouri State University. And many of you have heard of that and saying, wow, we really do have momentum at Northwest. And it starts with an academic renaissance, an academic momentum. And Dr. Motte and his academic team, there's many faculty and staff in the audience too, and we want to recognize you too, because what we're doing in the academic component of Northwest Missouri State University should make every one of us very, very proud as Bearcats. But that momentum doesn't just stop with academic renaissance. It goes well beyond. And one of the areas that I want to make sure that we recognize is partnership. And we have partnership with so many of you individually and even your own organizations. But the city of Maryville has been a very special partner and will continue to be a very special partner. And we've got city staff, we've got the mayor, Mayor McDowell back there, and city council members, city staff members. And would you please all together stand and be recognized for what you do for our community? We talk about being a Bearcat. Bearcats learn, Bearcats care, Bearcats connect, Bearcats practice civility, and Bearcats show pride. As you think about our alumni recipients, they learn and continue to learn. They learned here, they continued to learn. They have cared. They've cared for their communities. They've connected with each one of us and obviously within their communities. They have practiced and been role models for civility. And without question, they have shown pride in Northwest Missouri State University and being a Bearcat. So as we talk about momentum at Northwest Missouri State University, I also think that we have momentum in Berkeley, Missouri with Abdul because of what you're doing. And that momentum continues there. Thank you very much for what you do. We have momentum with Greg here in the city of Maryville. Where's Greg? You're right over here. Thank you, Greg, for what you do. Robert, I think you're kind of back over there somewhere. But Robert, as you think about what you've done for Cerner in Kansas City, but now Springfield and smaller town down there. Deb Toomey, and what you bring to this university is incredible. Thank you very much for helping us continue that momentum. And Stephen, with regard to what you've done throughout your career and your incredible service, but certainly now in the St. Louis area. I wasn't going to do it, but I'll include Bud Tice too. I've got to. But all jokes aside, Bud, again, that momentum resides in Omaha and everywhere else that you and Paulette go, because we know that you spread that love and that pride. And obviously with Catherine Cushman, and thank you very much for the Cushman family to be here, that momentum continues upstairs and throughout all of our lives. So ladies and gentlemen, we do have momentum at Northwest Missouri State University. It starts with academic focus and academic renaissance, but there's so much more to talk about, and you'll hear that from our recipients tonight. Thank you very much for being here, and thanks for being Bearcats.
Please join me in welcoming to the platform the president of the Northwest Alumni Association Board of Directors in 1972 and 2009 Northwest alumna from Albany, Missouri, Mrs. Linda Place. The Distinguished Alumni Award recognizes Northwest alumni for their exceptional professional and personal achievement and extraordinary distinction in their chosen field. He has spent his entire career supporting our nation's security while holding many senior positions. In doing so, he was responsible in supporting a number of major activities, including support to military operations and diplomacy, disaster relief, and humanitarian assistance. After retiring from the federal government, he worked for a commercial imagery company before starting his own independent consulting business. His contributions and leadership have not only heightened our national security, but also provided support to our military in the global war on terror, as well as guidance and organization for various humanitarian efforts around the world. Ladies and gentlemen, our 2016 recipient of the Distinguished Alumni Award, Mr. Stephen Wallach.
I'd just like to say that I'm truly humbled and honored for this recognition, and I'd like to thank the university and the Alumni Association. I'd also like to recognize my brother Brad, who was also a Northwest graduate in 1978. He couldn't be here today. He's coaching girls softball down at East Central College in Union. But he called me, I've lost track now, 4 or 5 months ago when the notice came out, and he said, hey, I think I want to nominate you for this. I had never even thought about it. And I've had an opportunity to do a lot of things throughout my career, very lucky. But I started thinking about it. The number of lives, for instance, that he has really touched. 30 some odd years teaching high school English, coaching sports. Sometimes we think we overlook, take for granted the contributions that people are making like that every single day. You know, one of my favorite sayings is, I learned a lot when I was in college, and it wasn't all in the classroom. And that's a joke, I mean, in a way, but it has some truth. We had a lot of fun, but in reality, what I think you really learn in college is how to work with people. Whether you're playing on the college teams, the intramurals, if you're in a fraternity or sorority, some other organization, or just working on team projects. You learn how to work together. You learn how to win together. You learn how to lose together. You learn how to be accountable. Because none of us are successful alone. It's always a team effort. I can honestly say I've been very, very fortunate. I've worked for some tremendously super leaders. I've worked with some really, really talented people. And I've had outstanding people who worked for me. Probably the smartest thing that I did was stay the heck out of their way and just let them do their jobs. And be there to help if they needed help. The last thing I'd like to say is it's all about the people. Remember the first time I came to Maryville, I had been recruited for football, and we were driving up and it had just been raining. The tractors had been out on 71, mud was all over everywhere. My dad's from a farming family. I spent a lot of time helping out on the farm when I was a kid, and actually used to take off work sometimes, take vacation days to help. But that wasn't okay. But when we got into town, started walking around the square, and everywhere we went, people waved. People were genuine. They were friendly. They said, "Good morning. How you doing?" I'm thinking, it's not the way it is down in St. Louis. And the fact is, the community and the university has that kind of a feel. It's a family feel. And I still have really, truly good friends here in Maryville. Marge Hutt, the Zeck family, they're like second families to me. We come up every year for the golf tournaments. We spend time. It's like getting together, like we've been together forever. And then our best friends, Mike and Patty Hutt, traveled in here from Denver for this. I didn't expect that, but I can't tell you how much I appreciate it. So again, I'd just like to thank you all. I'm truly honored, and I'm proud to be a Bearcat. Thank you.
The Distinguished Faculty Award recognizes a present faculty member for his or her outstanding teaching, service, and or research contributions at Northwest. She joined Northwest faculty in 2006 and serves as an assistant professor of marketing in the Melvin D. and Valerie G. Booth School of Business. Her list of awards and recognition include the Dean's Faculty Award for Exemplary Service, the Dean's Faculty Award for Student Support, and the highly competitive Tower Service Awards for faculty and academic advising. Most importantly, she is highly respected and appreciated by students, faculty, and administrators. Each organization has select individuals who define excellence. A great college professor has the heart of a teacher. Such individuals inspire the very best work from their students and bring out the innate potential within. As her fellow faculty colleagues and I can attest, this year's distinguished faculty recipient is truly worthy of appreciation and recognition for her excellence. Please join me in welcoming to the platform Dr. Deborah Toomey, the 2016 recipient of the Distinguished Faculty Award.
Wow, thank you so much. I really appreciate this, and I cannot tell you how much it means to me. First of all, I'd like to take a minute to thank my parents for being here. They came down from Essex, Iowa to join us today, so literally would not be here without them, right? So, yeah, there we go. So thank you so much. I'd also like to thank my rock, Rick Toomey. He's my everything. He's the reason that I can be who I am. He allows me to be exactly what I need to be, and that means usually working, like 7 days a week? Yeah. But we both drive in, so it's okay. So we both have our own transportation. I'd also like to thank my colleagues and friends that are colleagues. All of you, thank you so much for being here. I do appreciate it so much. I want to have a special thank you to Carol Spradling. She's a friend, a mentor, a colleague, and I think she would be really surprised to remember me as a student in 1988. In the spring of '88, she's looking at me like, what? She probably doesn't remember me because you see that class was at 12:35 on Tuesday, Thursday, and I was down in the Spanish Den with my Teak and Daughter of Diana friends, and sometimes I didn't make it to class. So, but I do want to thank this wonderful institution because I did have some bad times at Northwest, and it allowed me to come back and flourish and to do wonderful things with wonderful students. So I went from what was a rocky time to now a recipient of this award, and I thank you so much for that. Thank you.
The Distinguished Faculty Emeritus Award recognizes a former faculty member for his or her outstanding teaching, service, and research contributions at Northwest. She came to Northwest in 1967 and was chosen to develop the first public radio station in the state of Missouri, known today as KXCV. She was one of the first female station managers in the National Public Radio Association. She was tenacious yet gracious. She gave thinking outside the box an all-new meaning. She expanded learning into hands-on experiences. She dared to walk where others had never walked before and set new viable goals still in place today. Through her efforts, hundreds of students have had their first on-air experience at Northwest, and the citizens of the Northwest Missouri region have enjoyed thousands of hours of public broadcasting. Accepting the 2016 Distinguished Faculty Emeritus Award on behalf of the late Catherine Cushman is her son, Mr. Doug Cushman.
Wow. You know, as the story goes, when I was 15, I was amazed at how little my parents knew. When I turned 25, I was amazed to find out how much they'd learned. And now that I've been 39 for a year or two, the thing that I have gleaned is that my mom had 1,000%. She had 100% for the university. She had 100% for the radio station. She had 100% for her students. She had 100% for her church. She had 100% for her husband, my dad. She had 100% for for my sister. And most importantly, she had 100% for me. I appreciate being here today because it shows me how large a footprint one person can leave, and I appreciate it. Thank you.
The Honorary Alumni Award honors Northwest friends who have served, promoted, or loved the university in the tradition of a loyal graduate. He is responsible for starting the successful athletic training program at Northwest, serving as the head athletic trainer from 1971 through 1975. Thanks to his leadership, his students and graduate assistants have gone on to become leaders in their profession and members in the National Athletic Trainers Association. A constant promoter of Northwest, he was instrumental in encouraging alumni and friends to support the David Colt Athletic Training Room. Even though he's not a graduate, the phrase "once a Bearcat, always a Bearcat" can never be more accurate than when looking at his commitment and dedication to Northwest Missouri State University and the countless individuals of the Bearcat family. Please join me in welcoming to the platform Mr. Willard Bud Tice, the 2016 recipient of the Honorary Alumni Award.
I don't know how or why, and I'm not asking. This has been a pretty unusual 3 months getting to this point. Dr. Tim, I don't know you, but I'd like to take some of the pressure off. I'm going to tell you right now, there's not a need if your wife has a boy to name him Willard. Because ever since they made that damn movie, no one's picking that name anymore. So feel free to move ahead. Thank you. Special night. But if I look back, say 1971, about all I knew about Missouri was St. Louis and Kansas City. And then I get a notice, I'm a graduate assistant at Eastern Michigan University, just back from Vietnam, and I hear about a opening at Northwest Missouri State College at that time. I fly out. I'm interviewed not by the athletic director, not by the coaches, but by the president of the university. I figure that's probably how it always is with athletic trainers. And he got to talking to me about the fact that he would like to do something different here. And he challenged me to develop a first-class athletic training program. And I thought about it, and I turned around and I challenged him. Support a first-class athletic training program. And I want to tell you, he was every bit of his word. And if you've had a chance to see the program or know anything about the program here, you'll know that Dr. Jasinski has held up that. He has hired two young people that sit back here, Kelly and Joe Quinlan. They don't get any better. And they've been friends a long time. So I thank you and you. But I got wandering around the streets here because I was single, didn't know what to do. Walked up to the square like Steve had mentioned, and I met some old derelict up on the square that owned a shoe store. I guess unofficially he's probably my brother now. Had a wonderful wife, and he introduced me to a series of friends, which, if you might remember at that point in time, Monday Night Football was just getting started, and they had, 8 or 10 couples that every Monday night, so I got invited to those. And then I found out if you would visit their houses about 5:30 in the afternoon, there's usually another chair there for you to have a seat and have dinner. So I ate well as a single man. And then he introduced me to Bob and Mary Boken, and all I can say is you can't have a better friend than these two. For 45 years I've been gone from here, 44, I don't do math well. Sorry. But for the years I've been gone from here, Mary has always kept me posted, sending me clips, calling, emailing. So I was always keeping up to date on what was going on. But the program here was really special, and I really liked it. I had 4 wonderful years here. And not to overdo this, but I'd like to tell you a real quick story about the training room and Dr. Foster's commitment. The training room was pretty ugly. So I decided we needed to renovate. So I got a bunch of guys together over here, faculty, coaches, president of the Board of Regents, few pizzas, a whole bunch of beer, and we wallpapered and painted that, and then the security came. So the next morning I got marched into Dr. Foster's office, and he wanted to ask about that. And after I told him and explained to him who was in that room, he says, we're not going to be doing any more remodeling, are we? And I said, no, sir, that was the last. But I had a chance to have some really good students who came through here to work with me who are dear friends today. And one of those was my last graduate assistant I had here. It was Dr. Glenn Johnson and his wife Debbie, who came out from Colorado to be here. And Glenn now is an orthopedic surgeon in St. Louis, and needless to say, we're very proud of him. But a man of his word, because when Dr. Foster offered him my job when I left, he said, last week I made a commitment to a high school in Texas. My word. Congratulations. Then on that back table, there's a derelict, and I really mean a derelict, but a great Bearcat, and Coach Jim Red. I got introduced to Jim Red, and probably it's not something I really needed to do, but with them were a couple other people who aren't with us now, John Barnes and Dick Flanagan. That's their chair, because they always wanted to be present. And we had so much fun here, and the first homecoming, I brought out a lady that was going to be my wife. Only thing, after she came out here the first time, I didn't see her again for 8 years. I don't know if that was Barnes, Flanagan, or Coach Red, but it took a while to get her back into the fold. An athlete we had at that time was Randy Euchen, who is known to the Alumni Association, a great friend of the Bearcat Nation, and a farmer up in Iowa who allows me to come up and fulfill my, check off my to-do list as well as my bucket list. I've done more farming, driven more equipment, caused more trouble, but Randy and Jill, I really appreciate that. But this is so much a special place, and I appreciate the opportunity to have been here. I didn't introduce my wife, and that was on purpose. because after we moved back to Omaha and then 14 years ago and had a chance to come down here, one of the first weeks we came down here, she said, maybe we ought to think about retiring here when you finish up work. I thought, she's taking the bait. She understands what it's like to be a Bearcat. But then I think I pretty well covered the table, but in the back corner, there's a table of athletic trainers and doctors who have supported DC and support Kelly and Joe. I really appreciate you being here. That means a lot. But lastly, lastly is my dear daughter. We have 2 children. I have one. Paulette has one. Hers is a naval officer in Japan with 2 kids, who, of course, couldn't be here tonight. And Blair is mine, who's in real estate in Breckenridge. But from time to time, Blair is kind of a really warm, compassionate gal. And she sent me an email that really strikes at my heart that I just can't forget. But she said, Dad, I understand at the time of your passing that you're going to be cremated. And she said, I want you to know that'll be your last chance to ever have a smoking hot body. So, till I told her about the will, and now she doesn't really care. But no. But thank you so much. No, I did not graduate from here. I probably couldn't have made the entry requirements. I could work here, but I couldn't. But it's a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful place, and all of you know that, and we need to keep letting that word get out, not only to our students, but parents and stuff. Working at the Med Center in Nebraska, a lot of parents would come to me, hey, my kids are thinking of going to Northwest. What can you tell me? And I sit them down. You do that same thing. So thank you for this recognition. I will forever be grateful, and I hope I can live up to it. Thank you.
So Jenny, Willard off the list. Willard off the list. Got it. The Public Service Award recognizes an outstanding service-minded individual who has devoted their time and energy for the betterment of Northwest Missouri and higher education. He has helped strengthen the bond between Northwest and the Maryville community since becoming city manager in 2012. The impressive 4th Street corridor connecting Northwest with its downtown area is just one of the many beautification projects that he's been instrumental in developing. His innovative thinking and hands-on approach has allowed this 2002 Northwest alumnus to create partnerships that effectively invite industrial and commercial development in Maryville. His collaborative spirit, combined with the talent to strengthen communities, creates positive energy. This expands the solid bridge between the Maryville community and the Northwest Missouri State University. Please join me in welcoming to the platform Mr. Greg McDaniel, the 2016 recipient of the Public Service Award.
Wow. Of course they made me follow Bud, you know? There's nothing I can do from here that's going to top that. You know, I'm truly humbled and blessed to be the recipient of the Public Service Award, and I can promise you that when I was here on campus writing CE papers in geography that I had no idea that I would ever be able to be successful in public service, let alone have the opportunity to come back to a community that I loved. To be a part of partnerships with a university that I loved. You know, to be a Bearcat, I feel family. I feel like family. I've been proud to be a Bearcat since I graduated here, so much so that now when I return to the community, my daughter, who's also in attendance, she is at Horace Mann on campus, and she is proud to be a Bearcat. And I couldn't be more pleased with the university and the partnership we've been able to accomplish. Abdul is also a city manager. He's receiving an award tonight, and I think as city managers go, that's it. We're out. We've met our quota. That's the only two we'll get. I want to thank my city council. My city council is in attendance tonight. They've been extremely supportive, progressive. I can't say enough. And looking around, I wish that I could return the favor and provide as much support to you all as you do to me, both past and present. My past city council members are here. My staff's here. My staff is fantastic. The key to being a successful city manager is to hire people that are smarter than you. So I definitely have that with me in here tonight. I want to thank my family. My family has come up from Marshall, Missouri. My family and my loved ones are here to support me. I don't know who turned out the light when you guys left, but they've come up in support. So thank you to John Jasinski. The partnership has been amazing. Thank you to the Board of Regents. Thank you to Northwest Missouri State University, the Northwest Alumni Foundation, and I hope that we can continue this progress and I can continue to serve the Maryville community in Northwest Missouri State University.
The Northwest Turret Award acknowledges a graduate or former student for his or her significant contributions of time and talents on behalf of the university and the Alumni Association. He graduated with a degree in computer science in 1986 and had a successful career with the Cerner Corporation, where he spent 29 years in the engineering division. His passion and dedication to the computer science industry allowed for him to stay connected to the School of Computer Science and Information Systems in multiple capacities. While at Cerner, he was a leader and an advocate for mentoring programs and actively participated in Northwest's annual High School Computer Science and Information Systems Visit Day, Mock Interview Day, as well as serving as a member of the Computer Science and Information Systems Professional Advisory Team, and has hired numerous Northwest alumni for Cerner. Please join me in welcoming to the platform the 2016 recipient of the Northwest Turret Award, Mr. Robert Mulder.
So you got all these dynamic speakers, and then you got the IT guy that gets up here. First off, I want to definitely thank my parents. Came all the way from Des Moines, Iowa, to come down here and see what their hard money many years ago finally turned into. And then my wife of 30 years is also here. And when I think about what Northwest really, it gave me a lot of knowledge and a lot of abilities to go and have a great life. Also, the first week I started here, it introduced me to my bride. So, so my wife is also a Bearcat, and we actually have one of our daughters just graduated animal science from here. So we have a next generation Bearcat as well. So anybody looking to employ animal science, see me afterwards. Fly. So, but it's been a privilege to actually work here or work with the university and just to come back and be able to get involved in the various programs. When I went through the university, first of all, I was not in your class, Carol, so you certainly weren't here yet. Dr. Healer, who is around the room somewhere, was here, and it's one of those where when I went through the computer science program, there was Gary and Mary and Dr. Healer, and so there were the three professors, and it's always been Gary and Mary and Dr. Healer. After I graduated and have come back many years, I still can't say Phil, so it's Dr. Healer. But appreciate him being here tonight too as well. It's good to see him. When I was going through the program, it was Mary that kind of looked out into the class and said, she kind of looked at me and she said, "You need to go talk to this company called Cerner in Kansas City, and you might, just see if that's a fit for you." And tiny little company. When I interviewed, because of her advice, I went and talked to them, interviewed, got hired on, and we were less than 90 people. Then in the spring of 2015, I had the opportunity to get a buyout and retire. And so at that point, we had 22,000 people. So small growth in that time. And, along the way, Ken Scribner, glad to see him here tonight as well. He was here causing trouble with me back in college, and then we worked together at Cerner as well. But through the years at Cerner, what was great was that they had they gave us the ability to come back to places, our schools. And so I got to be involved and come back and get involved in mock interviews, and as Carol will say, I got to help put the fear a little bit in some of the kids. I don't know why I got the reputation as the hardest interviewer. So when people signed up, they knew they were coming in and going to get grilled a little bit. And I like to say that my legacy is that they will show up in mock interviews with paper and pencil to take notes. So, because that was one of the things that, if at the end, and I'm telling them how they did, and they weren't taking notes, then they really got grilled. So, but it's just been, an incredible adventure to be able to do that and get involved. And at one point, we actually, I talked to the HR at Cerner, and this was several years ago, and had them pull a list of who all in management was from Northwest, and it was a phenomenal number of people that were in leadership positions at Cerner Corporation that were Northwest graduates. And so there's some of those that now that I hired through the years that are from Northwest that are in leadership positions. And really, as I step back and I think about that, it was really all part of my retirement plan, because put the smart people in, get the stock price up, and so anyway, I wish I really had that much forethought, but it's been great to be able to see a lot of folks from Northwest getting into companies like Cerner and Sprint and some of the others in the area. But it's been a privilege, having the opportunity to work with the folks here. Probably the most interesting thing is that Dr. Healer 2 years ago retired, and I thought, man, that sounds like a neat idea. I had no idea that I'd be that close. And then Gary and Mary announced that they were retiring, and then Cerner, about a week after I heard Gary and Mary were retiring, sent out an email saying, "Hey, you'd qualify for this program." So I showed up for their retirement thing and said, "Oh, guess what? I'm retiring too." So, and now we've settled in Springfield. Recently moved down there, and we've got a 5-year-old grandson and a 6-month grandson that is definitely keeping us busy, and it's a little bit different, but I'm keeping my connections going with the career services side. Joan has been great to work with. In fact, when my daughter was going through here, it was, "Hey, Joan, can you kind of, give her a little guidance?" So it's been great to do that, but, hopefully there'll be some opportunities where they may call in the old dog to come in and scare some kids again. So anyway, thank you very much for the award. I very much appreciate it, and, just look forward to more great things coming out of here. Thank you.
The Young Alumni Award honors a graduate of the last decade for his or her exceptional achievements in career, public service, and/or volunteerism that bring honor to the university. Since graduating, he has excelled in governmental affairs and economic development in the St. Louis region, go Cardinals, and is currently serving as city manager for the city of Berkeley, an inner ring suburb of St. Louis. Under his astute leadership, he's been able to partner with city officials and leaders to reduce operating expenses by 13% while balancing the budget. This created an impressive $2 million surplus in the city's general operating fund. Not only has he been proficient in fiscal management, but also exhibited a full complement of leadership skills by overseeing the day-to-day operations of all city departments, no small feat. Please help me welcome the 2016 recipient of the Young Alumni Award, Mr. Abdul Kabah Abdullah.
Wow. I remember the first time I stepped foot on the campus at Northwest Missouri State. I was being recruited for football, and Coach Tatum picked me up from the airport. I flew in from St. Louis, and I get off the plane, and it's just snowing. And we take a ride up Highway 71. It's my first time ever seeing Highway 71. I'm from St. Louis, so we have highways. So as I'm coming up, the highway goes this way going up, and in the same lane, it goes this way coming back. So, and it's just snowing, and it must have snowed a foot of snow. And I said to myself, what did I get into? And I said, there's no way I'm coming here. But let me say this, there were two choices that I have made and that have been very instrumental in my life. The first choice was to be smart enough to pick a smart wife, and that's Andrea, and I love you, so thank you. And the second choice was making the decision to come here to Northwest Missouri State. Everything in my life has been step by step, has been put into motion by Northwest in my professional career. I went to Melville High School, and I had the privilege of playing under a great alum named Gary Heidi, who's a Bearcat, played here at Northwest. And of course, he had a great relationship with Mel Churchman. And as a result, I was recruited to come here, and that put everything in motion in my life. And it's just, wow. So I just have to publicly say thank you to Gary Heidi and to Mel Churchman, because those two men are the reason why I'm on this campus, why I stepped foot on this campus, and why I'm on this podium today. But as a result of graduating from Northwest, it gave me the opportunity to begin to see public service in a new way. I had the chance to intern on the Hill with Congressman Shaka Fattah. I was actually on Capitol Hill on 9/11. So I was evacuated from the Capitol, but that made me see I knew public service was something I wanted to go to, because ultimately it's people who we're here to serve. So everything that I do, even in my job day to day, I have my mayor and my city council, and I thank them, but all I do is implement their vision, and I'm up here today for just doing my job, which is very humbling. And as they say, everything that you set your hands to, you do it unto the Lord when you do your work. So that's why I'm here, and it's just to serve people. So I'm just humbled today. I'm extremely humbled, and I just want to thank not only Northwest, but also everyone in the room, but particularly my wife, my parents, Coach Heidi, and Coach Churchman. So I appreciate it, and I'm humbled. Thank you so much.
Here are some of the notes that I took from this evening. 1,000%. So many in the room give 1,000%. You're so involved in so many areas to make Northwest great. Hire a smart wife. Check. Lifelong connections, partnerships. Always a seat at the table, always a chair for others. Hard work and a joy, genuine joy and love for this university and all that it can offer. Hire people smarter than yourself, which is impossible for Dr. Simmons, difficult probably for Dr. Mote, and relatively easy for Dr. J. I'm sure this will be the last time that I get to speak to you. And I really enjoyed it. This is a great evening. It's a green evening. Thank you all for being a part of this special community that means so much to all of us and to our recipients. Their great work really makes a difference. Before we conclude, let's give a round of applause to Larry Manasmith, our 2005 Distinguished Alumni Awards recipient, and a man who logged more than 40,000 steps on campus tours this spring in one day, and father of Mrs. Vanessa Parsons, for sharing both of their musical talent in the family this evening. On behalf of my wife, Jenny, and our daughters, Eliana and Karina, and our future son, Jim Blackford, Bob Mahufsky, Michael Johnson Wall, naming rights are now secured thanks to some extraordinarily generous multi-billion-dollar donations that you didn't know that you made. Thank you. I'd like to sincerely thank you all for coming tonight and for your tireless support of the Northwest Alumni Association. Thank you for joining me in celebrating the many, many accomplishments of our deserving recipients. Before we conclude, let's give each of the recipients one more round of applause. We close tonight's celebration with a short video, and remember, once a Bearcat, always a Bearcat.